Everybody's talking about AI, but what does AI actually mean in this context?
In the IP world, AI mostly means two things right now. First is natural language processing, so that's the ability for machines to read and interpret text. Second, machine learning, letting systems learn patterns from data rather than following pre-written rules. The older approach was expert systems, basically encoding human rules into software. If the pattern mentions X and is classified under Y, then it's relevant. That works until the data gets too big or too complex, which happened a long time ago. The newer approach, and what everyone is excited about, is models that learn from the data itself. They can identify patterns and relationships that no human could manually code.
Okay, but what if I ask ChatGPT about a specific pattern? Then what happens?
You should try it. Ask ChatGPT to find you patterns relevant to a specific technology. It will give you a confident, well-structured answer. It might even cite pattern numbers. The problem is those pattern numbers may not exist. The citations might be fabricated. The descriptions might blend details from multiple unrelated patterns into something that sounds right, but it really isn't. This is hallucination. The model is generating text that's statistically plausible based on its training data, but is not actually searching a pattern database. It doesn't have access to one.
Why does it get things wrong?
Because large language models like ChatGPT are trained to predict the next word in a sequence. They're incredibly good at generating fluent, coherent text, but they're not retrieval systems. They don't look things up, they generate. And when you ask them about something specific, like a particular patent or a specific legal claim, they fill in the gaps with what seems most likely, not what's actually true. In a domain where single incorrect patent number or a misattributed claim can derail a legal strategy or an investment decision, that is a very serious problem.
Okay, so what's the difference between understanding words and understanding meaning?
Traditional search matches the exact characters you type. If you search for automobile, you won't find patterns that use the word vehicle or car, unless you've explicitly added those terms to your query. Understanding meaning is different. It's about capturing the concepts behind the words. An AI system that understands meaning knows that automobile, vehicle, car, motorized transport all refer to overlapping concepts. That's what modern embeddings do. They convert text into numerical representations where similar meanings cluster together, regardless of the specific words used, and critically, regardless of the language.
Where does vector search fit in? And what actually is data vectorization?
Vectorization is the process of converting text, in our case patent documents, into numerical representations called embeddings. Each document becomes a point in a high-dimensional space. The key insight is that documents with similar meaning end up close to each other in that space, even if they use completely different words or are written in different languages. Vector search means you can take a concept, any description of what you're looking for, and find the patterns that are most semantically similar. Not just the keyword matches, but the actual conceptual matches. You can do this at a document level, find the patterns similar to this one, or at a sentence level, find the specific claims that relate to this concept. And both matter for different use cases.
How does this work with Lighthouse IP and patent data?
We've taken our structured patent data, 30 years of cleaned, normalized, deduplicated records across 170 authorities, and vectorized it using domain-specific models trained on IP data. That's the critical point. We didn't take an off-the-shelf model and point it at a raw patent text. We've built embeddings that understand patent language, claim structures, and technical disclosure. We've built patent language models that understand the way that you work and the way that you search.
What's at stake when the AI gets it wrong?
Quite honestly, everything. If a company is making freedom to operate decisions and the search misses a critical patent, that could mean a lawsuit, an injunction, or millions in damages. If you're doing due diligence on an acquisition and the IP landscape analysis is incomplete, you're making a decision based on flawed intelligence. When companies spend millions or even billions on R&D, good enough search isn't good enough. You need precision, you need recall, you need to be able to trust the data underneath the AI.